Massive protests have been taking place in Albania, as I said earlier, for several weeks now, for over a month and a half, I think, to protest the construction of a massive coastal development project. And this project is led by U.S. President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and his wife, Ivanka Trump. Protesters in Albania have raised concerns of the project's environmental impact, the loss of sovereignty that's incurred by this development, and the corporate and elite control over the country's natural resources. Now, in the last week, Albania's anti-corruption prosecutor has even launched an investigation into the legality of the deeds that were granted for the resort. There's an accusation that it might be forged. And at the same time, the country's prime minister is facing serious allegations and criticism after spending over $4 million in public funds to host a concert with Kanye West, who, as we know, is quite fraught with controversy. Can't make this stuff up. So to talk about the ongoing protests in Albania, the impact on the people of the country, and how this fits into U.S. interests seeking to, wrest control over Albanian sovereignty, we are joined by Albanian activist Dajana KJ. Dajana, thank you so much for joining us here on BT Live.
Thank you guys for having me.
Well, to start us off, can you talk about the project backed by U.S. elites Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump that they're attempting to build in Albania, and why has it faced so much backlash?
It would have had faced the same backlash even if it was just an anonymous person. As citizens, we are concerned about the nature, yes, but we've had enough as well of corruption. Our prime minister has been in charge for the past 36 years, and things have just gone south from there to now. We have had enough. It all started when people were simply on the beach, as per usual, in Vlora, Zvernets, which is in front of Sazan Island. And they just started seeing fencing all over public places that were public places. The thing about Zvernets is that it's all around a lagoon. There are beautiful, untouched places there, beaches, wetlands, probably the only one remained in Europe. Yeah. And this island in France, Sazan Island, it's amazing. Not even public could have visited it for a long time because it's gorgeous. And most importantly, it was a military base for a very long time, the biggest in Europe. So it was quite dangerous, even to just walk barefoot, as Ivanka stated. You couldn't have done that because the land is filled with mines to this day. So, yeah, we are concerned because we have seen what has happened to Green Coast, Palase, which is in Albania. It was a gorgeous, natural part of the Riviera, and today is a block of cement. Amazing villas, gorgeous houses, and completely locked off resort, but us Albanians can't afford it. So that's the problem. Damn. That's what we are trying to avoid here. I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump doesn't care about Albanian people. So the resort they're planning on building, it's not going to be for us. And we will not even have access on working these places because they're going to import labor like they've been doing for the past 5 years. And that's why we are just like, how are you going to build a 5-star resort when we don't have hospitals? We do have hospitals, but they're falling apart. This is the people. And you know what? The crazy part is that our prime minister is still lying, saying that this is fake and the people are not on the street. And I'll tell you more. The Kanye West concert that just happened, he left them outside for an hour and a half. I'm not even sure how long they've waited because he wanted to make this comparing of how much people are at the protest and how many people are at the concert. You understand who we are governed by? He's insane.
Wow, it sounds like you've got a leader kind of like ours in the US in terms of the
Yeah.
insanity. But Diana, you've spoken a lot about the fact that the project does more than just threaten the environment, it actually undermines Albania's sovereignty. Can you explain to us what are the strategic interests behind this project? And what's the importance of Sazan Island and why is it so important to oppose this?
So Sazan Island is located in a very strategic point. It's called in Italian sentinella, as in watch through, for the entrance, the Gulf. It's the last place. So whoever has Sazan controls the in and out of the European waters. Let's start there. On top of that, underneath Sazan Island runs the pump that brings electricity, gas, and so on to Italy, for example. I mean, we're not stupid. There's something much bigger going on there. You can't go on live or interviews and say you've discovered an island that exists already. Like, what is this Christopher Columbus? Like in 2026, are you serious? It's important to stop this project because, I mean, for us Albanians, we are not doing it only for us. We are doing it for everyone globally. I don't know if you've heard, but these fencing of public beaches are happening all over Puerto Rico, Spain, Italy. It's important to stop this madness. Jamaican people cannot go to their own beaches because it's now of elites. What do you mean? We cannot accept our land being sold off, rented off, none of that. Albanian history is so rich. We have fought with blood for so many years to keep our country. That's why our flag is red, by the way, for the blood that has been shed from our ancestors to keep this land. We cannot lose this land. Our grandfathers died for it. We are so upset at our prime minister. He's betrayed us. This protest is not only for the islands, for the wetlands. We are demanding that he stops what he's doing and he gives the demissions. We don't want him anymore as our prime minister. And I don't know how or what we have to do to stop this. It's the 44th day that we are marching through the streets. 44 days of 100,000, 200,000 people screaming, give your demissions. Like, what do we have to do? Honestly, I don't know. Who can we ask for help? And we are protesting so peacefully. That's what gets me, We are trying to do our best to not have him say, oh, I had to put him in jail because they were lighting up fires or they were revolting. Or we are simply asking, please, you've done a mess. You are not good for this job. You need to get down. You need to step down. The worst part is that the parties, so Edi Rama and Sali Berisha, that have always acted like they were against each other, at the beginning of the protest, they made clear that they work together. So, for example, the 5-star resort or anything they try to build and sell, it benefits both parties. The only ones that are not benefiting from this madness are the citizen, the population of this country.
I mean, you've kind of touched on it already, but Diana, I wanted to give you a chance to kind of explain there's, as you said, hundreds of thousands of people have been out on the streets. This is truly a mass outpouring, a mass outcry against this project. What has motivated people to voice their opposition to the project? Is this, I think for a lot of people, especially in the United States, they had not thought about Albania, thought about, Albania being a site of mass protests. So what does this protest now and just the mass participation say about the situation in Albania right now?
The people are on the street, as I said, because we have no trust in any, how are they called? With nothing that's got to do with police, institutions, political people. We don't trust none of them. We have had enough of these people. The hospitals are not functional. The emergency lines are not functional. The schools are not functional. The streets are filled with dirt and the rubbish, and there's dogs everywhere. Like nothing is functional in this country, and you want to make it even more dysfunctional by building these five-star resorts. Because I've never been to America, but I know that if you go to Calabasas is something, and if you go two streets down is something else completely. And we are trying to avoid this. We don't want to see this gap of completely extremely poor and super rich enjoying their holidays.
Mm-hmm.
We
That's
are on
totally
the street
fair.
for
And you
so
know,
many reasons.
well, Dajana, I wanted to ask you before we let you go here. You know, the project is being led, as we mentioned, by Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, and they've said they don't plan to reverse course on it, despite hundreds of thousands of people in the streets. So, can you just clarify to our audience what are the demands of the movement to Albanian authorities and to the U.S.?
So we demand, for starters, transparency. Second, we demand that our prime minister leaves his job and all his corrupted friends around him, because there is so much corruption going on, and we have proofs of, for example, the second to be prime minister is a lady, and she was investigated for money laundering, tax fraud, all sorts of stuff. I don't know how these people are still on their chairs leading a whole country. I truly don't understand. And it's become such a global protest, like everyone can see it, and still nothing's happening. Is this the world of today? I'm honestly concerned.
Mm.
We are demanding that this madness stop, that the lagoons that were once protected keep being protected. Edi Rama made a law, our prime minister, where he says that any place that brings in tourism and is good for investment can be used. He made that recently, about 2, 3 years ago. To use it now and say that, oh, but building the resort will bring in tourism. So he's thought a long time ago about this. We are asking that this law gets revoked.
Very clear demands there. I mean, you know, it's really important, and we thank you so much for joining us here today, because there has been a lot covered about Albania, but you know, it's kind of from a top level view, not speaking to activists on the ground. So it is so great to speak to you, Dajana, and it is I mean, just how you're able to bring in this international perspective and people's right to their own land. And I think sometimes because it's around like beaches, people say, oh, well, is this really important? And actually, yes, it is, because they start with the beachfront property and then it continues. And I think, you know, the example of Puerto Rico is such a clear case of this. I mean, the fight for people's self-determination and sovereignty and really ultimately independence is an ongoing one. And I think that the Albanians have showed the way.
The biggest thing that has been happening is that diaspora is coming back to Albania. As you all know, a lot of Albanians are everywhere in the world but in Albania. And sometimes they make jokes of us. They're like, why are you so patriotic, but you're not even on your country? Well, we didn't have the chance to even enjoy our country. My parents left in 1993, like many others, because of the communism, because of what was happening, because of the poverty. It was a war-torn country. But you cannot take this away from us again. So us children that were raised out are coming back home because we want to give a chance to this country, and we want a new Albania.
Well,
This is the biggest gonna
There.
thank
Sorry,
you.
froze up for a second.
But thank you so much, Dajana, for speaking to us.
Thank you, ladies. And I truly invite everyone worldwide to join the protest in the streets, because it's not happening only in Tirana. It's happening in New York, in Roma, in London, Brussels, Germany. Albanians are filling the streets asking this madness to stop. And as I said earlier, we're doing it worldwide because it's happening in too many places. It's not only for us, it's for everybody, for our freedom and for our rights. Thank you.